Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? Good, I'm glad everyone is okay. Let's just remove that. Good. Okay, it's another Q&A. I was chewing, I was looking at the wrong screen. I thought I had a few more seconds to go, but I don't. So everyone, good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well and everybody is fine. Just let me know if you can hear me, and obviously more importantly, can you hear Louise?
Can you hear me? I'm back! I haven't been here for 3 weeks.
Back in the flesh.
I am back.
Good to see you. You don't have to mess around with technology.
Okay, I'm having a little, speaking of technology.
We're having a bit of a breakdown, are you?
No, it's just, this is mucking around. Okay,
so first of all, everyone can hear us, I presume. Can they hear us, Louise?
Can you hear us? Yeah, Susan, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
She's out of quarantine.
Both, yes.
Finally.
Brilliant, thank you, Claire. Yeah.
Good.
I'm out of quarantine, yeah.
Back in the flesh. And it's hard, isn't it? It's hard getting back into it after being ill.
I think it's because I had a week on holiday and then I was ill. And then I mean, I'm still just tired by the end of the day, which is not like me. I'm normally a bit bubbly, but I just, yeah, I think it's
just... 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, flagging a little bit. Yeah. Even now, I've still got my... I've been coughing, I've been...
Oh, hashtag me too, here we go.
Don't forget me, don't forget me. Yeah, I did have a very bad cold last week.
You did have a cold last week, granted.
I was really poorly, and it's still with me. It's still coming up towards the end, and no, I don't have COVID. So it's just a bad cold.
Get the violin out for you.
Please, thank you. I'll send those sweet while I'm at it.
No, in fairness, you were poorly last week, but you're fine now.
All right, I'm fine now, but I am still, you hear it in my throat, can't you? I'm still a little bit nasy.
Just jump in on the bandwagon. I can't even be ill, can I? I can't even be ill.
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad everyone's okay. Look at them, still peeling from the holiday. All right, that's enough about us. One thing that we do want to say is that we are going to be visiting the Exeter Bead Rock Bead and Gem Show.
Yes.
On the 22nd, 23rd of April. So what's that? That's in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
We're going to be down there, Exeter Racecourse. I know Sally Spencer's going to be there. I think she's got herself a little booth. So we'll pop along.
I'm excited to see Sally again.
Pop along, see Sally again. And if you are down that neck of the woods, Exeter Racecourse, obviously it's very near to places like Torquay, Paignton, Brixton, North Cornwall.
Beautiful part of the country, isn't it?
Very nice indeed. Plymouth Way. If you're around that area and you want to go to the Exeter Bead Rock Gem Show, I can't remember what it's called, pop along. Louise and I will be there. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be the Saturday or the Sunday or both. Not sure yet. But if you want to meet up perhaps for a coffee, or I don't think there's any GGs going around, is there? To be honest, I don't any GGs, horses.
Oh.
It's on the race course.
Oh, right. Oh, controversial though, isn't it?
Yes, so we won't be, but yeah, if you want to meet up and you want to have a coffee, just have a chat and whatever, and you want some advice, we're happy to come along and sit and have a cup of coffee and have a chat. That's what we're planning on doing. And if you want to let us know what days you're going to be coming, Louise at andrewberry.co.uk. Let us know what days, perhaps we can meet up and have a chat. I know there's quite a few people that we know from places like doing the store orders and things like that down that neck of the woods, and also on here as well.
Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah, Penny, definitely. Yeah.
So if you are around, we would love.
Fiona, yeah, fabulous.
We would love to meet up. Absolutely.
Be great.
Yeah, good. That's that. we have also been planning all the workshops for the current year. And that's what we've been doing today. So we've been planning all the workshops. We've got a calendar. Let's just try.
What are you doing? Hi, Andrew.
We got a calendar coming up now this week with all the workshop dates and all the planned workshops, what we're going to be doing.
Yes.
And we're going to be announcing that then in about a week's time. Mm-hmm. So you know what you're going to be getting from us over the next coming year.
Yeah, a lot of you will have seen on Facebook that we've actually taken the decision to close the shop on a Monday, just to stay on top of everything, really, isn't it? The admin is needs to be kept under control, and it is just us. So yeah, it's for planning and administering everything and
making sure that we are ahead of the game.
Yes.
Because At the Bench has been getting busier and busier and busier. The prepping and the filming is getting more and more and more. And we thought we were going to have to make the decision to close the shop, to have one whole day based upon At the Bench and the administration and projects and whatever, so we know exactly what we're doing, and obviously tell you then in advance what we're doing.
And I'm really excited about it because it means that we're going to be even more efficient and even better.
Yes, even better than what we are. Yeah. So we got all these workshops planned. We got all the workshops planned and out starting April, May, June, July, August. None in September, but there's 2 in October.
Because it's a long month, isn't it?
And November.
Yeah.
But there is not going to be one in December because we physically cannot fit that in amongst running the shop as well.
And I think everybody as well is busy in December. Everyone's making stock or presents or...
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we're still obviously going to be available for all of your individual queries.
Yes, and also the Q&As are still going to be carrying on Mondays as well. There's going to be quite a few bank holidays this year with the coronation and so forth, so there won't be any Q&As on bank holiday Mondays. Just to forewarn you. Okay,
well, there's only one extra, isn't there, this year for the coronation?
Bank holiday, yes.
Yes, so it's just, only one extra.
That's enough. That's enough. Okay, so should we start?
It doesn't affect the shop closing on a Monday anyway, does it?
This is correct, yes.
But
so we
Here we
away.
are. Okay.
All right, good, excellent. So there we go. So don't forget Exeter Racecourse, 22nd, 23rd of April. Louise and I will be down there. Just let us know what days you're going to be there, and we can have a meet up and have a chat and so forth. And it'd be lovely to meet everybody. It really would. All right, should we start? Anything else you want to say, Louise?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Good, that's okay. All right, should we start?
Okay.
All right, it is Monday, the 3rd of April, 2023, 4 p.m. Time for our latest Q&A. Louise, a lot of chat happening in the chat box.
Yeah.
What would be our first question?
Okay. Jeff is saying, I won't be able to see it live, but I have what is probably a silly question. No, there's no silly question. Can you use 2 different pre-polish, Menzuna and Tripoli, on the same wheel? Or do you need to get new wheels when changing?
No, I sort of chop and change as well. Downstairs, we've got sort of a pre-polish that you can use for gold, and we use a pre-polish for silver or platinum. And we chop and change. Whoever picks up the block puts it on there. As long as it's a pre-polish, that's fine. And also when it comes to a final polish, it doesn't matter whether it's going to be your rouge or whether it is going to be your Menzuna. For me, I don't think it matters too much. They've both got the same, what's that word I'm looking for? They both do exactly what it says up on the bar, basically. It's a pre-polish, and I don't think it matters. So no, just leave the same calico mop for a pre-polish, you with Tripoli or with a pre-polish on Menzuna, and I think you should be fine. Absolutely, yes. But if you are unsure and want to make sure, grab yourself one of these. Oh, Louise, what have I done with it? Grab yourself one of these torture devices. 1 second, guys. Make yourself one of these if you're unsure and you want to make sure that your mops are nice and clean. Grab yourself a piece of 2x1 and make yourself one of these. You can either have it like this, hold down here, or have it double-handed. I prefer this. This is simply a piece of 2x1 that is around about 10 inches long, and through here we have simply drilled holes and then put through screws. Nice, sharp screws, almost like a little bed of nails. And you use this then to dress the mop. So perhaps if you are a bit unsure and you want to stick and you've accidentally put a Tripoli on a Menzurna mop, all you do is when the mop is spinning, hold on to this, let the mop brush over these nails, these screws, just to get all that polish off, and then you can then reapply your new polish. But these are ideal. We have a couple up here, and you have to make sure you have eye protection and also a mask. So when those wheels are spinning, those big 6-inch calico wheels or swan's down mops, you hold on to it, like that, spins, all the dust goes everywhere, and it trims and it conditions your mops. And actually you should use these every few months, because what you don't want to do is for your mop to become sort of glazed and hard, especially when it comes to Tripoli. Yeah, I'm looking over there because it's nice and soft, that mop. So your calico mop, even though it's a pre-polish, it shouldn't be hard. We shouldn't be able to bang it on and not for it to conform and to become slightly soft. Anyway, answer, next please.
Good. Brandy is saying, I just got my Sally Spencer book
Yay.
out of the mailbox. Yay, cool. Okay, so Alan is saying, changing an oyster clasp for a box clasp on a curb chain and necklace, how best to go about it?
Changing an oyster clasp
for a box.
For a box clasp.
Yep.
Now, you are going to be making up a box clasp, Alan. If you are, it really is a simple matter. On a curb, was it a curb chain? Yeah.
On a curb,
yeah. So obviously I'm going to draw a link, okay? That is your link. And what you want, I need to adjust this. I'm still slightly blue on this camera. So what you want to do, the easiest thing to do is to cut straight across the link like that. So now you simply have half a link, and now you then simply solder on your box clasp. Your half a box clasp here, and on this side there's the other half a link, and there is the box clasp here, a bit small like that, and there's the tongue piece that goes upon the top like that there. And you simply solder here, solder here. It's not going to be invisible. It's going to be obvious, basically, isn't it? Because you've got your half a box clasp here, and the link then fastens onto it. Does that make sense? Like that. Like that there. I'll turn that off now. So yeah, so that would be the best way to do is to get the box clasp half and half, half and half. I think that's what you mean. If it isn't, just let me know. But yeah, that is how you'd simply add a box clasp to it. Yes, Louise.
Good. Sandra said, I had to miss last Monday's Q&A. Any crazy highlights to share? Any frothiness? There's always frothiness, Sandra. You know that.
It's not. That doesn't mean too bad recently. I wasn't too well last week.
Well, I wasn't here to stop you. That's the thing. I was at home, so I was linked up, wasn't I, by Zoom. So yeah, we were a bit disjointed last week.
Have to try Teams, I think, next time.
I think so, yeah.
Because Zoom, you only have 40 minutes, and that means you had to be reconnected, didn't you?
Yeah, they cut me off in my prime, didn't they? Okay. Dancers Without Box is saying, are there any regulations or considerations in putting oxygen and propane cylinders in my workshop in the UK?
You have to abide by the safety rules that the canister suppliers should give you. And that would be to make sure that they are chained in a vertical position to an object that cannot tip over. So for instance, say a table leg, or put a hook and eye in the wall and attach a chain through that around the canisters so the canisters cannot drop over. Very, very dangerous if a canister drops and hits the floor. It could bang and smash off the regulator. It could do all sorts. It could explode. So you've got to make sure that the canisters are held upright. You should also make sure on ventilation as well, because don't forget, if propane escapes, propane is heavier, and the propane will always go down to the bottom, so it'll lie upon the floor. I'm sure there are propane, what's what I'm looking for these today? Propane detectors. I'm sure there are propane detectors that you can buy that you should have in your workshop as well, but make sure that they are preferably away from your bench. So if my bench is here, and the position for any tanks is not necessarily good to be underneath the bench. They should be over to one side. If then you have any tubing or any piping coming from those, they should be ideally pinned towards a wall so you don't trip over them, you don't get your legs caught in them or anything like that. So as far as I'm aware of, those are the safety precautions that you need to take. But as these tanks are in your premises or in your house, you should notify your insurance, because they will be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to satisfy their terms and conditions. Because if you don't, something happens and your house, you know, whatever, goes up, and you haven't taken those precautions, you would not be covered under your insurance. So definitely contact your insurance company, or definitely take out insurance, and then you have to abide by their rules to be able to qualify for your own insurance, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, please.
Good. Penny is making some pieces for another company, the first foray into jewellery. I am unsure whether to advise them to invest in their own maker's mark or use mine and see how it goes.
I think so you could use this to your advantage, and perhaps don't suggest it to the company, because you know what Hallmarking's like. You can send off one piece or 10 pieces or 50 pieces. It's expensive. They say, oh yeah, Hallmarking is only like 50 pence or £1 a mark, that sort of thing. But once you have your set of hallmarks, your maker's mark, a date letter, these fancy little funny arty things that they have going on, you know, all sorts of things, it adds up. And usually the more you send off, the cheaper it becomes per item. Now you can use this to your advantage, Penny. You can then send off your items with the other company's items to reduce everyone's bill. And that is something that I think I would consider to do. Unless then they want their pieces hallmarked with their maker's mark, then it's up to you then to do that, or to tell them how to do that. But then who's going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to then do the hallmarking notes and everything else, or are you going to simply give the jewellery to them and let them do it? Personally, I would not let them do it. I would want to do it myself, so then it'll bring down everybody's prices. And you can use that as a sort of an example. Say, well, if you sent off 3 items, it's going to cost you £30. But if you let me send off a parcel with mine, it may only cost you £20. So that's what I would do. It also help you and bring your costs down as well. Definitely.
Talking about costings, now is a really good time. You just jogged my memory to actually revisit your pricing strategy. We did the workshop last year now. When was it? Yes. 6 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in the last couple of weeks, we've had to revisit our pricings, and we just simply because our overheads have increased so much. And this is for the shop now, not at the bench. At the bench,
prices are staying
exactly the same. But yeah, certainly for the shop, we've just had no choice. We've had to look into it and cost everything back out again, because it's good to do. Yeah, just to keep those margins, really. And
it is scary when you come to look at the price, even of findings these days, and the price
of metal.
The price creeps up, and then it goes up, and then it'll come back down. And you go, oh, I won't increase the prices because they come back down again. But then it goes up and it goes up and it goes up, and it keeps on going up. And the gold was like, is it £19 scrap, £19 a gram? And you look at the price of some of the prices in our book that we haven't really upped in about 2 years, 3 years perhaps.
So we took our eye off that really, and now we're going to keep an eye on that now every 6 months, periodically check. So yeah, it's a really good just to remind really that it creeps up and you don't notice until you notice your margin.
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, at the bench, we always keep that as low as we possibly can, because it's hard, isn't it? We know ourselves how hard it is and expensive it is running a business. And even having a hobby. You know, hobbies are expensive. So if you're a hobbyist jeweller, you know, that's the cost of that is big as well, isn't it? So that's why we try and keep that as low as we possibly can.
Keep everything affordable. And as somebody very kindly mentioned, we concentrate on the quality of our training, and we do not concentrate on charging exorbitant prices. We're in for it for the education,
Yeah.
not necessarily for the money. Obviously, people need money to operate.
We've got to survive.
But we do it for the love of the education, don't we? Making a little bit of money, and that's the way we look at it.
Yeah.
We don't put out a couple of films and then charge 3 times the amount. Anyway,
but so now is a good time to review
your prices,
and check in on everything
and pop back onto your onto those workshops.
Absolutely, go back
get
to
your
your pricing
spreadsheets.
spreadsheet, revisit all of this, and make sure that everything's where you want it to be going.
Yes, because we were quite surprised on how expensive certain items have become.
Yeah.
If you have to supply them from a findings house or something like that, or bullion dealer, whatever it is, the prices have gone up. So revisit your prices, and now is a great time to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, Louise.
Cool. Helen is saying, in your video of fold-formed earrings, you used reflections silver. What is or was it, please?
Did I? Did I use reflections?
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Reflection silver, I think it was the British version of argentium. And I didn't even know that I'd used reflection.
You always said you don't use argentium.
I've never used it. Obviously I have done. And I think reflection.
You don't know your own strengths.
Reflection was a brand name that I think Cookson's sold a long time ago. I don't think they sell it anymore. And I think, perhaps I did do it, but I know there was no real soldering involved in that, so I didn't worry too much. I have to go back and have a look at that and see if I did. Obviously I did, but just to have a look. But thank you for that. But
Cool.
it was like an argentium, non-tarnish. Yes. Yes, Lou.
Good. Rebecca, hi Rebecca. What is the best way to solder gold embellishments onto a silver ring? Which alloy / solder?
Oh, I love things like this. All right, so we have got, the way I look at it is this. Let me see if can I alter this whiteboard? Sorry guys, I need to change this because this is really doing my Swede in, this one. White balance, hang on guys. How can we change this? White balance, dun, 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 dun. How about that? Daylight, any better? Shade.
You're going to go green now.
Any better? Cloudy. No, definitely not tungsten. Fluorescent. There we go. Okay, I think I should be better. Am I better on that? We're in and out of focus. Let's take that out of the way. Are we any better? A little bit better. Hurrah! Okay, embellishments. Edge of your silver ring, balls, bits of sheet. Okay, now what I like to think is that I love to sweat solder. Sweat solder, for me, is the #1 type of soldering that is basically the perfect type of soldering for the majority of cases. And in this case, if this is gold and that is gold there, what I would be inclined to do is to sweat solder, a little bit of solder. Shall I use a different colour for this today? I would use a little bit of solder and I would flood some solder onto the gold. Okay? And now I would use gold solder, because if I've flooded silver solder onto gold, there is a chance that that solder is going to go all the way over and cover the gold embellishment with silver solder. Likewise over here, I would always make sure I sweat solder my bit of gold solder on a piece of gold, because if that solder happens to flow over and on top of that ball, because it's gold solder and that is a gold ball, the solder really isn't going to show up an awful lot. If that was silver solder on top of a gold ball, it's going to show, and that gold ball is now going to look silver. So what have you got to do? You've got to try and file this ball, buff this ball to try and get the gold back and get rid of the silver that is on it. All right. Then what you would do is you would perhaps make a slight little divot on the surface by here. So when you put that ball then into this area, you then get your flux, and you put your flux around by here. Okay, you put your flux on that side now, and when you put the two together and you heat then from underneath or from the side, the gold solder that is on that ball will be transferred through onto that bit of metal that is in contact. And likewise over here, you would flux this area here. You would put your embellishment on top of the ring, heat from underneath or from the side, because don't forget, if you put your heat on top of these embellishments, they are going to melt before the ring gets to the correct temperature to solder. So always remember to put your torch on the biggest area, at the biggest amount of mass to heat up, and if these are in contact with the ring, the heat will transfer through from the ring onto the embellishments, and when both these temperatures of the embellishment and the ring are the same and they get nice and high, the solder will go, oh, I love you, and it'll embrace, it go, oh, you're just the right temperature for me, and it'll just go towards it, okay? Now, the best thing about this is, because you've just put your bit of flux here, the solder is not going to go bleh and everywhere else, because solder, again, likes to be between objects. Solder doesn't like to go out on its own. If it can stay, you know, like a hug, you bring a hug together, yeah? That close contact, oh, is great, yeah? This is why, yeah. So when you hug, that point of contact between the two people is lovely and warm, and that is the best place to go. That does not spread anywhere else, does it?
You're saying the solder is the hug?
The solder, yeah. Well, that's the one person. This is another person's, the essence. Oh, write that down. Seriously, that'll go in my book. Solder, quoted, Louise, solder is essence of a hug. Because, brilliant, well done, Lou. You've listened to this far too long. So the solder is the essence of a hug. When those two objects come together and it's the right sort of temperature, oh, magic happens, yeah? Magic.
I think you're getting a bit carried away.
Magic happens, and the solder won't go anywhere else, because the solder, the hug, likes to stay between the two surfaces, between the two people, and the solder will not spread anywhere else. That was the question, wasn't it? That was the answer. I think that was the answer.
I remember what the question was. Should we go back and have a look? Does that answer the question, Rebecca? I hope it does. I'm sorry about the mad tangent.
I think that was, yes. It was. Yeah. What solder do you use? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yes, yeah, good. Okay, bit of extra info then. Which is always a good thing, isn't it? Okay, cool.
Let's have another question, please, Louise.
Okay, Janelle is saying, I'm starting a Cuban link chain. What are some alternatives to shellac that can be used to secure the chain for filing?
What's that glue? The glue gun, hot glue gun. That's a brilliant type of setter's wax. Okay, setter's wax is a great thing, very similar to shellac. So setter's wax or a hot glue gun. Yep, get your edge of a piece of wood, you know, 2x1, whatever you want to do, like that. Yep, get your glue gun. It's a two-person operation. This glue gun. Along with that, as soon as that, then get your chain and put the chain directly on top. If you want to then put a bit more glue gun on top of it so it goes through and fastens onto the edge, something like that would be great. You just warm it back up and you can pull the chain off. So yeah, setter's wax or a glue gun would be fine. Yes, Lou.
You've got a.
Oh, have I? Oh,
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alan. That's so kind.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Do appreciate that.
Do you want another question or do you want some?
Oh, shall we?
I've got loads of show. I've got loads to show and tell.
So we, as you know, each week we have a bit of a feature, and I thought the features are getting so brilliant. I thought I treated Louise to a new slide. I treated.
I've never done that before.
I treated Louise. I've made a new slide for her.
Go on then. Is it here now?
You just have to drag it into place. So we have a little.
I don't know where's this come from then?
We have a little bit of a feature
called
Show and Tell, and what it is that we ask you guys to send us anything you want. Pictures of your bench, your craft show, your pet on your bench, the items that you're making, whatever, the latest stones you found, whatever, and we would love to have that on the show, and we would like to talk about it and also give everybody some information regarding you and your Instagram feeds, your Facebook post, whatever it is. So Louise has a new slide which looks like this.
Look. It's very theatrical. I love it, darling. Look at that.
Shame there's no music to go with it.
Fabulous.
You got to put that one back, yeah. There you go.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Good. So that is our latest show and tell.
Thank you, Andrew.
Show and tell slide. Because this is quite a big thing now that we really do get a lot of people send you pictures. And obviously the usual ways you can send pictures to louise@andrewberry.co.uk. So what do we have today, Louise?
Lots. Okay. Not yet.
No,
Let me
not
get
yet.
my photo up ready first.
Yes.
Okay, so I've got quite a few things to show you. The first is this beautiful brooch. So do you remember Sarah with the pig tusk necklace?
Sarah's Art in Australia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Australia, yeah, mate.
I didn't mean that just slipped out. I didn't mean to do that accent. It just came out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, nothing intentionally.
No, sorry. Right, so yeah, Sarah made a pig's tusk necklace for a client.
Yes.
Which you may remember.
Yep.
She says, last Saturday, a lady came to my stall and asked if I'd made it. I said yes, and my heart sank and I wondered what I'd done wrong. Bless her.
Yes.
Anyway, she told me her son had made it for her and asked if I could change the clasp to make it easier for her to use. Yeah, all fine. So she then asked if Sarah could alter a brooch, which she never wears, to make a pendant. So this is the brooch.
Can I show?
Yes, please.
Light up.
So it turns out, unbeknownst to Sarah at the time, that it was by the Danish designer George Jensen. And what had happened was it had lost its pin. It hadn't broken. At some point, the rivet had fallen out and the pin had gone with it. So Sarah hadn't heard of him. She says otherwise she would have been too intimidated to work on it. And that's the thing, isn't it? Because when you make something from scratch or from components yourself, if something goes wrong, you just bin it off. But when you're working on somebody's jewellery, the pressure is, So Sarah recommended repairing the pin and rather than adding anything to the brooch like a bail, to use the olive branch and the S clasps to add a chain.
That's the pin, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way she has both the brooch and a pendant. Look at that. What a fantastic job.
Well, yes.
Up until this point, I'd never riveted anything. Now I have 3 pieces of riveted silver in my scraps jar and a repaired brooch to return. But look at that. What an absolutely amazing job she's done on that.
Very good. I'm impressed. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it?
Beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely stunning.
Yes.
So collectible as well, George Jensen, isn't it?
Might have a bit of
Yeah,
George Jensen.
so fabulous.
Good. Excellent. Louise.
Cool. So next up, I have Kenneth, who is on today, I think. I think I've seen you, Kenneth. So look at these beauties. Yep. So Kenneth bought the jig that you use, Andrew, 6 years ago. Struggled with it with limited success.
Yeah.
The workshop on claw settings fixed this perfectly. And here is the photo of the settings that he's just made following the workshop. Look
Excellent.
at them. Absolutely perfect.
They are really good.
Yeah,
I love it.
excellent. So yeah, he said many thanks for this great series of workshop. They are
good.
Gorgeous.
I like it.
Yeah,
Very
lovely.
good. Well done, Kenneth.
Fabulous. Well done.
Very good.
Good stuff. Okay, so next up is Ian. Who I don't know if Ian is on today. Give me a shout if you are, Ian. So you'll like this, Andrew. This is cool.
Oh.
What am I doing? Nope, that's the wrong one. Ian, where are you? Right. I closed my pictures here. So here we go. There. So Ian had a happy accident using the titanium strips to make silver balls, and he had a what if moment. He said, I was using the strips for the silver balls to stop my soldering block from looking like the moon's surface, and this is the result.
Very good.
So he's actually made rings from the titanium. I love that. That is so cool.
Oh yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
And it's an application that...
So they're £2 titanium strips made into rings.
An application we haven't
never
thought
even
of.
thought of it. No,
Amazing.
Exactly. Very good. I'm impressed.
Yeah. So there's a few... Where's the... Oh, I've gone through the pictures, have I? Yeah. Aren't they cool?
I like them. Yeah.
Fabulous. Yeah, thank you so much,
Very
Ian.
good. I do like that.
That is wicked. Okay. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, Clay says, love a bit of torch fire titanium. Yeah, it looks wicked. I don't think the pictures show the colours. Yeah, he did say, so she and the photographs don't show the beautiful colours, but apart from doing a video of them spinning, yeah, that's... But yeah, you can see the colours, but obviously they are more vibrant in real life, which is fabulous. So, that brings me on. I know I've got some others in the bank for next week. Yes, next week. Because, yeah, I'm behind on a few weeks. So the last one for today... So some of you may remember, oh, that's gone up a bit small. Oh, hang on. Oh, bother. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can get my pic. I'll come back. I've got a bit of a story. So we'll do a question and I'm going to get these because for some reason they've downloaded really tiny, so they're not very clear.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you another
Ask me a question. Yep.
And then I'm going to get the photos up and I'm going to tell you all about scrap over engineering story.
Yes.
Okay, how far did we get? I think the last question we had was...
What solder to use?
Rebecca, wasn't it?
Reflections around by here, I would have thought.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yes, Jeanette. I was on Janelle. We did Janelle. Yeah, we did Janelle, didn't we?
Yeah.
So Jeanette is saying, where do I get the setter's wax from that you use in your curb chain video? Is it called anything else?
We sell some shellac. It could be called dopping wax. So D-O-P-I-N-G. It could be called dopping wax. Simple as that. There, dopping wax. You shellac, I know somebody's mentioned that you could use GRS Thermolock as well, which is a good idea. The only problem with the Thermolock, it doesn't really attach itself to the wood. So it's not going to be the best type of fitting. But a shellac would attach itself to wood and also a dopping wax. And yeah, we've got some shellac in the store. I think there's only one strip length of it is left. But dopping wax, if you search for dopping wax, we don't sell any dopping wax on the store, and that's the atthebench.store. We don't sell any dopping wax on the store, but if you want to look for it, you can do, and you can use that. That's about it. I can't stretch out the answer anymore, Louise.
That's okay.
Is that all right?
Right.
Next question. Then,
do you want another question or do you want...
Oh, do you have the pictures there?
I do.
Coolio.
Here we go.
Should we have the pictures?
I'm not really sure why. So this... Oh, come on. Do you remember...
Can I show?
Yes, please do. Do you remember a little while ago... I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say his real name, so I'm sorry, I'm just going to call you Scrap Over Engineering because I've got it in my head that you didn't want me to say your name, but do tell me if I remember that wrong. So yeah, if you remember, Scrap made this brooch a little while ago, and I think it was for your grandmother, if my memory serves me correctly.
I remember that right, yeah.
And so if I read out the email, it'll go into context then, so it's better. So yeah, sadly, Scrap's grandmother passed away since the last time we spoke on the Q&A. So this is the brooch that he made.
Yes.
So somewhere in the 60s or 70s, his grandparents went to Canada and bought some objects and some art pieces. So that was the inspiration behind the brooch and what's coming next. So if you could just flip off that photo for one moment, Andrew, I can get the other picture here because the ones I downloaded
of course
did not. So that was the inspiration. This was the piece of art that was purchased. That was the inspiration behind the whole project.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? And it is very 60s, 70s, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very Andrew Grimshaw. Grimmer.
Andrew Grimmer.
I'm sorry, Andrew Grimshaw was a friend of mine in school. Andrew, Andrew Grimmer.
Yeah.
From back from the 70s, yeah.
Oh, I can call you Fab, yeah, I can call you Martin. Rhymes with the River Tyne. Martijn.
Martijn.
Cool. Fab, thank you. So that was the inspiration behind it. So parents had one, gave one to his dad and aunt as well. It's made from old forged nails braced together with brass and with a copper centre.
Cool. Okay.
And that was the inspiration for the project. So yeah, the brooch, which I just showed you a moment ago, was for his grandmother's 100th birthday, the summer before last. Yeah, what a beautiful gift for her. So the project started as an idea resembling, the steel object. Soon realised that what I wanted to make was too difficult to make for me in such a small scale, so I split it up into two projects. So the first was the brooch, which I just showed you.
Very good, yeah, like that.
The second was the object, which I'm going to show you next. So if you just pop off that just for one moment, please. I will get the finished picture up for you and we can have a talk about that because it is absolutely glorious. Yeah, so this is the finished piece of art.
Wow.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we often just think about silversmithing as jewellery, but it's much more than that, isn't it?
Objects as well, yeah.
So yeah, so the second piece was this piece of art here. Because of the size, it was made as an ornament, not as jewellery. So he says, I started this the same time as I started the brooch, but I couldn't finish it. But I couldn't finish them both on time for my grandmother's 100th birthday. So I put the large object on hold and tried to finish it later. And the project was very difficult. And I had a lot of problems, so much that I worked on and off again because at times I got fed up with it. And I think that's sensible, isn't it? If you get to that stage, leave it and come back to it.
Definitely.
And do it in little stages like that. Otherwise,
Refresh.
you just, absolutely recharge yourself. So it took almost a year to finish it.
Wow.
But wow, wasn't it well worth the time and the effort? And because it is absolutely stunning, isn't it?
It's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
So I think it's nicer than the original piece
good from what I can see
that
on the screen,
inspired
yeah.
you in the first place
Brilliant.
to make it. Yeah, that and the brooch, they're just absolutely stunning. So there's a link to the video, which I think we'll put that in the description of underneath this. So if you want to go and have a look, please do go and have a look because it's fab and give Martijn a follow as well on YouTube because
and we'll put the link. We'll put the link below in a couple of hours' time.
Yes, so we'll look out for that.
So revisit this page,
Yeah.
and we'll put the link below.
Yeah. Okay. So the centre part is a silver casting, which is made from which he made from a specifically made 3D printed design, and it fits a 12mm rose cut garnet. There are at least 70 solder joints in the part, so I started out with the hardest solder I could find for the larger ones on the middle part, not counting the 60-ish gold solder accents that I put on the prongs as well. What an undertaking. But that might have been a mistake because I had a lot of problems with the solder joints. All the prongs on the bottom part were soldered in one go, but it took so much heat it damaged at least 3 prongs, which you had to fix. But you didn't give up, and it's amazing.
Very good.
I did polish everything when it was the easiest to do, but then everything was soldered together. When everything was soldered together, I needed to do the buffing and got in a seemingly endless cycle of polishing, breaking and soldering broken prongs. It was very demoralising, but in the end I finished it and gave it to my grandmother for her 101st birthday last summer.
Brilliant.
Oh wow.
Love it.
After the first video, I framed the object and added a 14 karat gold and silver butterfly for good measure. Beautiful. And thank God it's framed and nothing else is going to fall off it or up safe. Excellent. So there's another video which we will link into the description.
Yes.
The whole process with the problems kind of burnt me out. I learnt a lot from it. And I only just started thinking about silversmithing again recently. Thank you, Andrew, for the advice that he gave me for this project.
Okay, you're welcome.
But amazing.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you just didn't give up on it. And what an absolute... And you know, I'd like to know, do you have it now? Because what a lovely kind of tribute to your grandmother as well, and something to remember her by. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it?
Very good. I like it. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Martijn.
I know. I was quite emotional when I read it, because I remember you were making it, and we talked about it then when you were making the brooch.
Back and forth, back and forth.
And yeah, it's really, really lovely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Louise.
I was going to say, that's not all I got. I have got more, but I think we probably better do some more questions, haven't we?
Yes, sorry, I was just looking at the questions that were coming in. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just jumping ahead.
Stunning, isn't it? Have you done another big... Has anybody done a big sculpture, or...
I've done a Millennium Bug.
Yeah.
I was commissioned by the council to produce them when obviously 1999 was around, and they commissioned me to make a Millennium Bug.
An actual physical Millennium Bug.
An actual physical Millennium
Can
Bug.
we see a photo?
I have to get a picture next week.
Where is it
perhaps.
now? What became of the Millennium
Council
Bug?
had it. Council's got it. Council's got it. But there was a local guy who was a wood turner. Really, he was a very old man. Perhaps deceased now. But he was a wood turner. He had all his wood turning tools in his attic.
Yeah.
Lived up in the walk. So.
Do you want to give out his address as well, Andrew?
He's dead now. His wife's dead as well. They're dead. But yeah, so I got him to turn. It was a nice mahogany. It was like this sort of size. It was quite big. And with the Millennium, you think of, I don't know what I thought, to be honest, but the back was like a scarab. And I cast all the legs on the thing, so it stood up on all these silver cast legs. It had a jaw, it had antenna, and it had like stripes of silver on the back of it. And I mounted it on a nice plaque, and I put a glass dome over, and I told the council, do not remove the dome, do not get it dirty. Next thing I know, it's in the local paper, dome's off it, ooh, like this, ooh, like this, in the picture. I'm thinking, no.
Take it around the schools,
yeah,
around the yards.
And they did take it around the county when it was the Millennium, yeah.
Did they?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yes. So I've got pictures somewhere. I think they're downstairs somewhere. So perhaps I can have a show and tell with my Millennium Bug for next year.
Yeah, I'd love to have a Millennium Bug.
Oh, okay
Good.
then, Louise.
Okay, good.
But there we are. That's it. Good. Thank you for that.
Fab. I've caught up with the questions now here. I know where I was. Okay. Gillian is saying, what is the best way to protect a soft stone when bezel setting? Do bezel setters scratch your stone?
Yes, they would. So, grab your Mohs hardness table. Find out where steel is on it, and any stones that are higher than steel should be okay. And any stones that are lower than steel are going to scratch. So that's the easiest way to work out. So, again, knife blade is 5.5. So
steel file 6.5 it says.
Yeah, so anything, I say anything lower than 5, you would protect, wouldn't you? Because if a steel blade is 5, anything lower, and you protect it. How would you protect it? Just grab yourself some masking tape. You can put some masking tape over the stone, just put it onto the stone, and then you obviously leave the area that you're going to be burnishing. You can also put anything else up on the stone like rubber cement that will nicely peel off as well. So anything higher than 5, you should be okay. If the burnish just slips, it should not scratch the stone. And that's as simple as that. What do you think, Lou?
Cool.
Good answer?
Yeah, good answer.
Thank you, Louise.
I don't know why you need my approval.
But you're the gemstone girl, and I was just thinking yes. And obviously, again, okay, so I'm not saying that any stone that is higher than a 5 is going to be safe, because if you've got facets on it, or perhaps there may be some inclusions, the tool catches the edge of a facet, it still may chip. So no stone really is
indestructible.
Indestructible, exactly. So always do take care. And always work in a way that limits the amount of burnish as well. So what you don't want to do is have your stone like this and you try to burnish like this, because it's not going to work. But you put your hands on your bench and you like this, and you can just burnish carefully, almost as if you're trying to pare an apple, something like that. Limit the amount of movement, because like this, if you're trying to burnish like this, you're all over the place. There's no... But, yeah, okay. Yes, Louise.
Good. Okay, I had a question ready then a moment ago. Where's it gone? Okay, Donald is saying, I want to alter a simple round bracelet too similar to a child's expanding bracelet as it's too large on my skinny wrists. Anything I need to think about regarding springiness, for instance?
Not necessarily, because even if you have a piece of nicely annealed silver, the act of bending it, and obviously when you come to say make a bangle, it is in one piece like that. But if you want to make it into an expanding bangle, you would force it past. So a normal bangle, the joint would be like that. But then when you come to make an expanding bangle, it would be like more like that. And usually the act of just bending that around, and usually it's not completely round, even though I would bend it quite round, and I would bend the area here and here a little bit tighter. And I would use, is that knocking anything off? I put Louise back on that, did then. Board, there we go. And I would use a pair of these sort of pliers that you can have. They're slightly curved, so we got a nice curve here with a steel jaw on there. And I would use something like that just to bend these edges that little bit tighter so it overlaps. And then you simply make a stirrup which goes there, and a stirrup goes there. So you solder the stirrup here, you solder the stirrup up there. And a stirrup is, all it means is just a piece of rectangular wire that is made like that. This area inside here has to be wide enough to go over the bangle, and also because the bangle's doubled here, this distance across here has to be at least double the thickness of the wire. Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no need to worry about tensioning. You're going to wear it, you're going to be opening it up, and then you're going to be closing it again. And by doing that, the act does actually work hard on the silver, so you should have no problem at all. Yes, Louise.
Here's some other exciting news. Susan HP, who a lot of you know from the chat, has had a meteorite registered.
Yes,
yeah,
you saw it, didn't we?
Yeah,
yes.
Well, I put the link into the chat. Perhaps we can link that up as well.
Yeah, in the bottom of the description.
In the description.
Yes, yes.
So it's an official meteorite name. Susan's now gone down in history, having found this. And the official name is Tiger Tail. March the 1st, 2015, 10 a.m, a single wedge-shaped 39-gram stone was recovered along a shell beach close to the edges of Homosassa River. I hope I'm saying that right. By Susan Davis, who was kayaking near Tiger Tail Island and Tiger Tail Bay. When initially recovered, the stone was dry with some shell sand residue still attached. So the stone resided in the collection of Susan and Charlie Davis until April 2022. When it was cleaned and a 5mm window was cut, revealing metallic flecks and round granules. On May the 18th, 2022, a slice was sent in for classification. How amazing is that?
Amazing,
so
isn't
it? Yeah.
What gets me is what made you pick it up from the floor?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm sure there were lots and lots of rocks and pebbles. What made you pick that one up?
I suppose it's reading, knowledge. I mean, Susan is massively knowledgeable when it comes to rock stones, gemology. So
something that's a bit different, perhaps.
Yeah, I suppose it's her reading and her education and her learning that's so impressive, isn't it?
Yes.
Amazing. So yeah, Susan's gone down in history for that. How
awesome.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Love
I
it.
like that.
Good. Do you want another question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Phil's loving his Sally Spencer book as well.
Good. It is a good book.
Cool.
Good. And we're hoping to meet Sally Spencer down in Exeter.
Yes, definitely. Stephen is saying, how do you limit porosity when vacuum casting flask 550 and silver 1050?
I'm not sure what those would mean. Those numbers would mean.
Give us a bit more detail, Stephen. We're not sure what the numbers relate to, please. Donald, how would you do the bangle alteration?
So you've got your bangle, okay? Your bangle overlaps, doesn't it? Yeah. You've got your bangle overlapping. So you cut the bangle, you overlap the bangle. All right, you've got a distance across here. Your metal is a certain distance as well. So then what I usually do is get usually some square section wire, perhaps 1 millimeter square section wire, and I would simply bend the wire into that shape. Yeah. Don't necessarily have to solder every single corner, just bend the corners. Okay, and I make 2 of these. I usually have the joint running across one edge, right in the middle. These pieces, the inside from there to there has to be slightly wider than the bangle. The bangle, obviously, wire has depth. The depth of this little stirrup then is just over twice the depth of the one, because don't forget, there's your other bangle, and when they overlap like that. So this distance across here and here has to be that distance across there. Make up 2 of these, all right? Then what you do, you have it so these joins are on the inside, on the bottom down there, okay? You've soldered them. What you want to do is thread them, thread one, thread the other one on, and then when they go down here, you bring them back. So then now you've got your, I hope this all makes sense, then your stirrup goes around like that. Does that make sense? There's your stirrup, there's a stirrup going down, going around, going down there, and likewise on here your stirrup is coming up and it's going over there. Does that make sense? So these are your stirrups you've made. Once you do that, you solder this one on this top edge here. And on this one, you solder it down the bottom. So you solder down the bottom, you solder on the top. And that's as simple as it. That's as simple as I can make it.
Good.
One last question then, please, Louise, 'cause it's 5 o'clock.
Okay. Susan said brownstone on a shell beach.
Okay. Noticeable then.
Took a year to classify. Wow. Space peanut, as Joe Dirt would say.
Fair enough. Can't say anything
Going to be picking up every brownstone now on the beach. Good. Oh, Penny says, my membership renewed today really is great value.
Thank you, Penny.
Janet, at the bench has been the best education I ever had. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you, Janet. It's very kind.
Thank you. Claire agrees, so good. Diane says, I've learned so much from you guys with every penny. Oh, fabulous. Thank you, guys.
Brilliant.
Phil says, a question about pricing. I've just bought a 9-carat chain from a very good company in Hatton Garden. If I was to double the trade price I paid, I'm still not sure I could sell it. This is the thing, isn't it? It's on a higher value item, I probably
would not necessarily double. The problem is how have you bought it? How have you bought it trade price? Or have you bought it what they say is a trade price? Is the price that they've sold it to you at the price they sell to everybody? This is what you've got to think about.
Sometimes with the pre-owned, I will just, obviously the markup on a higher value item will be less than a lower value item. A low value item, if you times it by 2 or 3, it's not worth the effort putting it on the website, because the time it takes to photograph it and process it all and catalogue it, you'll just sell it, and there's no point in doing any of that, is there? So that's why you mark it up more, or because you've got to cover all of that as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So this is the thing. You know, Phil, I know you should be able to pop onto Cookson's, log into Cookson's and see what prices they're charging. The best thing to do is to work on a price per gram on these sort of things. You should know how much Cookson's sell the chains for. Go onto the chain price, it'll have the chain length, it'll have the weight, it'll have the price, and you should be able to work out how much per gram that chain should be. Check your chain, see how much you paid for the chain, and see if it's the same sort of price. I admit that it is getting very, very hard with the internet these days, that there are companies out there that are making very, very little profit on reselling chains. And sometimes what you've got to think about is if you're making something and you've made a pendant, you can make your money on the pendant and not necessarily make the same amount of profit on the chain, but make a little bit of profit. And I think it's very, very difficult to do that. To even double the price. You know, we buy our chains from Curtis Chain. We buy some chains from Italy. We buy chains from various places, and all the prices change. So you've got to think about, have I paid...
Oh, it was trade price.
Have I paid trade price? So what?
No, Phil is saying no proper trade price paid.
Right. So then, in theory, you should be able to double it.
Plus the VAT.
Plus the VAT.
Yeah, don't
if
forget.
you're VAT registered.
Yes,
if you're
of
not,
course,
you
yeah.
cannot add VAT on.
Sorry, yeah, should have added that.
No,
Yeah,
that's okay.
We would double plus VAT on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On certain things like that. But again, it depends. If you bought a £500 chain, you can't expect to make the same profit margin than you can on, say, a £30 chain. So again, it is very much swings and roundabouts when it comes to that.
I think if you're not sure whether you're going to be able to sell it, try and sell it, and then if you can't sell it, reduce the price. Is the if you can afford to,
absolutely,
to wait and delay. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yes. Let us know what you paid, Phil. If you want to have a chat, just get in contact with us and let us know where you got it from, and perhaps we can do some searching and see.
Yeah.
To see what sort of prices are like. Yes. But it is tricky when you buy things that have a price. Is it the best price? Do they sell it cheaper? Do they give you discounts if you buy quantities? And all that sort of thing. So yes, it is very difficult.
There was something else I wanted to say. I can't remember what it was now.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Jill was saying then she was talking to somebody about At the Bench.
Oh, where was that? Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Why can't I find you now, Jill? Oh, yeah, Jill said I was talking to someone over the weekend. I was explaining At the Bench, and her response was, "All that for that? Wow!
All that for that?
All that for that?
All that?
Love it."
Yes. Others will charge you less.
Not everyone knows that At the Bench has been going for
10 years.
10 years?
10, 11 years.
So you were really the first online, I think it's safe to say, the first online jewellery school, if not the first, one of the first.
Yes.
So the bank of videos available is so vast, isn't it?
Yes.
That it's a decade of material, really.
Yeah. There are thousands of films on hundreds and hundreds of subjects, and they're 20 minutes each. It would take you days and days just to watch them, let alone take you weeks and weeks and months to record all that
years
content.
To catch up, but to catch up watching it, let alone Yeah.
So we try and keep the prices low. We try and keep the content interesting. This is why we're doing the workshops. There's lots on there, and if there's anything that you want to know, want us to film, we're happy to do that as well for you, certainly. Yeah, but there are others who charge you well over double, and they give you well under less of what we offer. And you most probably seen on Instagram, we've been putting posts on over the last week. We teach you fold forming, we teach you cuttlefish casting, we'll teach you stone in place castings, we'll teach you delft clay, we'll teach you corrugation, we'll teach you very unusual projects like the poison ring and the love letter pendant. We do this. Do the other training providers do that? No, they don't.
I got to go now. I've got to plan all my socials for the next week.
You do.
It's April. It's Diamond Month. There's so much to talk about on your social media, and it's a topic that I think your clients and your customers will be really interested in. So it's a good month, isn't it?
Yes. To do a bit of research and put some slides together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much to talk about. Perhaps that'd be a good little feature on the Q&A is suggestions for social media posts, because we all struggle with that, don't we? Throw some ideas around and
and ways to produce the content as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
Yes. So Phil, don't ring me because it's an extremely busy week. Please just drop Louise a message, and then we can get back to you then when it is convenient for us to do some research and to look into it. So don't ring.
Well, you're in and out the shop a bit this week, aren't you, with various bits and pieces, so you might...
So don't ring. You may not catch us, but give Louise an email and we will certainly come back to you when we know what we are talking about. Good, excellent.
Fab.
Anything else we need to talk about there? Andrew,
Dr.
Louise?
Karen, thank you so much for all that you do. You are loved and appreciated.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind
I love
of you.
that.
Thank you.
Clay's saying it's great we get quantity as well as quality, froth and humour.
Yes.
Yeah, Clay says buy more diamonds. Yes. Love it.
Absolutely.
Oh, get your clients to buy more diamonds. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I'm toying with the idea. Oh no, I'll tell you about it later. It's okay. About the whole marketing thing with diamonds and telling customers about that. Because for every person who loves diamonds, there's a person who thinks that they are not that great.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to sell diamonds, it's not a good story to tell, is it really?
Best not, Louise. Best not tell that one, is it? No.
When is Kerry joining you for a Q&A? The 17th of April, 4 o'clock, normal time Q&A, 17th
2 weeks
of
today.
April. Yeah.
Yes, so we'll have Louise and Kerry Gregory in the hotspot, and I'll be over on the computer up there trying to match what Louise does on that. And yeah, so if you've got any questions regarding gemstones, usual louise@andrewandlouise.co.uk, and you can also ask them on the day, and Kerry will be answering them live for you as well.
Yes, Martijn said, I just made the second video public too, so there are 2 videos. Oh, send me the links, so the ones you want me to link in the description, and we can make sure that the right ones go on. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Pop them
Brilliant.
over to me via email.
Excellent.
Cool.
Let's go.
Great.
Excellent. We've had a lovely day.
Yeah,
nice
it's
to
been
have
nice, isn't it?
nice to have you back, Louise, in person,
Thank you.
in the flesh. Right, don't forget, Exeter Racecourse, 22nd, 23rd of April. We're going to be down there. Decide on what days you want to go, and we will be down there, and we will happily meet up and say hello. Lovely to meet you all. Lovely to put a face to the name. And
Claire says there is next week's a bank holiday, so there's no Q&A. That is correct.
is there a bank holiday next week?
Bank holiday Monday. So we're Fridays. This Friday's
Oh,
Good
Easter.
Friday. I don't know. I'm looking at this, and I've written everything in the week before in my diary. So this look. Do you know, if I lost my diary,
Yes.
I had a meeting this morning with
Yes.
with a lady, and she was just like, "That's like code, like hieroglyphics, aren't they?"
But that's how you write the packets out as well, like that. And we can't understand a word. All right then. Yes. So thank you for reminding us. We got Good Friday this Friday, so we're off Friday, back in work Saturday, and Sunday is Easter Sunday, and Monday is Easter Monday. I think that's how you say it, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're not here next Monday.
No.
Okay, everyone. We will see you 2 weeks today. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, and then that will be
1 week for Kerry Gregory.
Yes, I was going
week
to say
after
yeah.
Exeter.
Wow.
Good.
No, the week after is I don't know. It's all on my phone anyway. It needs to be written in here.
All right then, we're going to go. Love you and leave you. Thank you very much for everyone coming on today. Really do appreciate it. Under new government, all app is for treated.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. Yep. So happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy Easter eggs.
Eat all the chocolate.
Eat all the chocolates. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things to say, but I can't.
No, there's nothing else to say, is there
Nothing
really?
else to say, so I'll shut up and I will go. So it is goodbye from Louise.
Goodbye, and it's goodbye from Andrew.
Goodbye. See you 2 weeks time. But don't forget, keep an eye out on socials over the next week or so for the timetable for the workshops coming up for the rest of the year. Everyone, take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.